The speed, the fight, you're on your own. Not anymore with Esports.
Hello and welcome everybody back once again to the Team America Talent Scout, brought to you by Esports. Today, we take to the track for Event 5 as we get ready to head over to Road America for the GT3s. This is going to be an absolute thriller, one of the most exciting ones on the calendar to this date. Also, the longest race to this date in this calendar. Now, before we do get into this tonight, let's take a little bit of a look back and a recap at the LMP2s in our previous race. It looks like it's going to be Alex Caruso leading Nathaniel Fryman as it stands. Jake Cummins dropping back to third right now. It looks like Nathaniel managed to get the over-under through the S's and carry that momentum now onto the start fit, or on the first straight. Still side by side for Jake Cummins as Bronson Turner is looking to get his nose involved. That's going to be very wide for the 97 of Jake Cummins, and he's got to keep it under control, Sagar, if he wants to keep these positions. But right now, he's got a lot to look forward to in this middle sector.
On the run down towards turn 4 before we get down to Decidia do Lago, and that's going to be a little bit wide for Nathaniel Fryman. The 97 of Jake Cummins is going to go back through, but will the overspeed be there back for the number 27 of Nathaniel? It will be there, but he's a little hesitant to snatch that position back.
Currently, Gerson Herrera and Eric Halsband are at each other's throats. Eric in a very awkward spot of the track trying to make an overtake. You really don't want to be making a move through the middle or the end sector. He has the overspeed, but can he get there before the braking zone? It doesn't look like he can. He will have a nose ahead, but it's going to require utter confidence to get this move done. Eric Halsband around the outside, keeps his nose in it, and manages to get the job done. Gerson backs out at the last moment. Now let's take a look at this overtake again. This is a ruthless overtake, like a viper striking at the last possible moment. Checkered flag is out, and Alex Caruso is the first driver to find it in race 1. Jake Cummins is, Jake Cummins is going to be the driver that comes home in second. The number 97 will be a little bit behind, 7 seconds, 9 seconds behind for Bronson Turner.
To the inside line, doesn't give the pinch back to the number 18, who goes the long way around the outside, and that'll be Brown making that one work through the S's. Riley Mills in the 1-1-2 to attack, and he's looking at that highlighter machine's inside line. The number 91 opens the door, the 1-1-2 presents himself, and the outside line again through the Enfield section. Turns into the outside line.
Now Riley Mills here, he's all over the back of Stringer and looking to make a move quickly. Stringer takes to the racing line. I'm not sure I like that decision, as this is going to allow Mills all the way to the inside. Now the inside turns to the out for the second part of the corner. Through Senna they go. Advantage currently to Stringer, but Mills is going to pull the wool over his eyes and make that move stick like glue, as we have a new winner entering the victory circle tonight. Alex Caruso, take a bow. The checkered flag is awaiting you, and the victory is yours. Alex Caruso takes the victory for the Team America Talent Scout Event 4. Jake Cummins going to come home in second, and Bronson Turner going to be taking third. The top 3 falling where they lie, Sagar. like yesterday. And now bringing in alongside of me as well is the man that was alongside of me in the previous race as well. Yes, indeed. It is none other than the Sagar Bakshi. Sagar, how are we doing here on this lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever these fine folks are?
We're doing absolutely amazing, Mike. Excited to be back for another great round for the Team America Talent Scout. Last time we were out was at Sao Paulo, Brazil. The Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace led to some drama and some undulations coming down the S's in through turn one, not only for race one, but for race two as well. But that led to some pretty calm, cool, and collected battle packs being formed throughout the stint, and then a nice, calm win at the end of the day.
It was, and also, again, just a look back and testament to the LMP2s in terms of their racecraft. But tonight, Sagar, we have something a little bit different in terms of, well, everything, to be honest. The look, the make, the models, the everything to begin with in terms of this car, as well as the track here tonight. We are heading over to Road America, located in Plymouth, Wisconsin. It's a 14-corner track, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, with 52 meters or 171 feet of elevation. It is quite literally a roller coaster. And your ride here tonight, yes, the GT3 car, and the grid is extremely diverse when it comes down to it. We see a lot of McLarens, a lot of BMWs, Corvettes, Mercedes, Astons, Ferraris, everything to mention pretty much is going to be out there tonight in the race as well. One 50-minute race. That's opposed to the previous double format that we've been doing in the Team America Talent Scout event. This time around, we're going to have a pit stop. It's a 70% fuel load, and the drivers are going to have to cope. But before we get into that here tonight, a quick little reminder of who is making these events possible. It is, of course, Gadget. Take a look at your screen there. That is the Phoenix bundle. You can scan the QR code on your screen or head on over to shop.regadget.com and use code INIT to find yourself getting quite a hefty discount on what is already an extremely affordable bundle to begin with. The Phoenix bundle coming in with a 3060 32 gigabytes of RAM, as well as 1 terabyte plus 256 gigabytes, Windows 11, everything you could imagine, and it's lit up as well. It is beautiful to see. And it's amazing as well. Of course, Regadget providing that. You can head over to their website for that. And on top of that, if you have a PC laying around, send it over to them as well. They will pay for the shipping, take your PC, refurbish it, and get it off to a bigger and better future. Whether it's in a library, whether it's in a school, or whether it's in somebody's house, your PC has a spot. Set it over to Regadget, and of course, you can get that refurbished. Now, a little mention on everybody else that does make these events possible as well. Of course, we have our producer behind the scene, Tom Bryant, with AK Esports UK, providing all of these wonderful pictures, which you're going to be seeing live on Twitch, YouTube, as well as on TV. Yes, indeed, over on Esports Edge, on Roku, as well as on eClutch in the MENA region. A big shout out to all of those guys making all of these wonderful pictures possible behind the scenes, and of course, you live at home watching this from your TV or your computer as well. But Sagar, we talked a little bit about that previous race. Why don't we talk a little bit about expectations here for tonight as we get into this? Again, the GT3s on Road America, a little bit different than we've seen so far, but of course we had the GT3s a little bit earlier in the year as well.
A couple of the keys to the race that I've come up with so far is that because of the long straights, it means we're going to have very heavy braking zones. So you have to avoid locking up your tires or using the ABS in this case, right? Because of the fuel windows that we're faced with here, 70% fuel capacity, fuel management is going to be a factor here. Long lap means fewer chances to pit, so you got to plan accordingly. If you get caught out in weather and that long lap in ends up becoming a wet one, well, you're going to be in for a very slow lap. Leads into key number 3, especially with the weather coming in, avoiding offs. Grass here could be race ending, right? And of course, we'd be remiss without talking about that long front straightaway. From turn 14 down to turn 1, the slipstream is going to make drafts very, very powerful.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you mentioned something there just briefly, Sagar. If I look outside of my commentator box window here, virtually speaking, of course, I see some potential clouds on the horizon, and they might not be far away either. And those clouds, well, look dark, Sagar. They look like they might contain a little bit of moisture, and that moisture might just hit the track. And if it does, well, all chaos is going to break loose. It's going to start at the final corner potentially and roll across the entire circuit. Sagar, what do you think that's going to bring in terms of the dynamic of this race?
Well, I think at one of the toughest tracks in North America, because of its rolling terrain with significant elevation changes that are going to challenge drivers, the rain is just going to add to the spectacle tonight and add to the challenge that the drivers are going to be faced with localized potential rain coming in throughout this event. It will be difficult for the drivers to manage that cutover period of when is the most opportune time to come in for tires. Do we even switch to wets? Do we stay on dries? Is it fuel and go? What is the opportune strategy tonight? It's going to be a roll of the dice, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be a roll of dice with the weather as well. Really, what the clouds decide is what's gonna end up happening on the track, and whether you get caught out on dries or you get caught out on wets at the wrong time, well, it's only going to be time is the variable to find that out. But tonight we have a jam-packed grid coming in at over 20 drivers joining us here tonight, and a massive skill level as well when it comes to the drivers on the field. We will be taking a look, by the way, at the results here very shortly. But in the meantime, let's just hype these guys up for a minute here, Sagar. We have some very big names joining us on the grid. Your Andrew Herschel's, Nathaniel Fryman's. Let's not forget about Aaron Brown being the oval expert, and of course joining us at PRI last year in 2026 in Indy. On top of that, Eric Halsban, another driver that joined us in Indy for PRI, and just so many familiar names joining us out there and seeing them out on track once again.
Absolutely. It's great to see old familiar faces, and it's exciting to see some new ones, such as the likes of Edwin Onofre right now. With his 6,000 I rating, I'm excited to see what he's able to do alongside the likes of, like you said, names like Eric Halsban, Nathaniel Fryman, Andrew Herschel, and many more throughout the grid that are definitely going to challenge for the lead of this event.
And a potential new winner on the horizon as well. We'll be seeing that if that does come to fruition. But in the meantime, well, we definitely will be, just spoiler alert, but we will see in the future, as of course, I think we're missing our previously winners, both of them in the race, which is very unfortunate to see. Hopefully they will be back in the next one as well, of course. But I wanted to take a little mention as well, just to bring us back slightly, is talking about the weather for a second and the platform that we're racing on iRacing. Of course, rain still in my mind is new. I know it's obviously old news at this point. It's been in the game for over a year, the simulator for over a year now, but it's awesome to see, and it's very refreshing. And of course, massive shout out to iRacing for allowing us to use their platform. And also just a little reminder as well, what is the Team America Talent Scout event? Well, it is going to be the official roster of Team America that's going to be battling in all of the Nation Cups on top of all of the LAN events and any online as well. Of course, we will also be taking part in some events as well very shortly, but this is the next event for Team America. You can see on your screen right now, it's going to be heading over to Alton Park in the GR86s. That's going to be next month, July 5th. And that's going to be the last of this 6-month calendar that we've had as well. So do keep an eye out in the Discord for some new announcements and new calendars being let off, because just because our 6-month calendar is over does not mean that the Team America Talent Scout is. No, it is just beginning. We will be announcing that new calendar with some potential new types of racing on the horizon as well. I won't spoil anything, of course, but do keep an eye out, and you can scan that QR code, register on our website, or you can head over to our website as well to find our Discord link, or if you're in one of the chats, you can type !Discord or head on down to the description for more information. But let's get into this here now tonight, and let's break down qualifying as the results are in for the Team America Event 5. Here we go. Edwin Onofre took home pole position by 0.1 seconds over Eric Halsman. Again, that name that I mentioned that is also familiar. Nathaniel Fryman just coming in third position here, half a second off of the pole time. Andrew Herschel coming home in fourth with Paul Nye behind in fifth. Mike Pico coming home in sixth position with Sean Roberts in seventh. Nick Dawson in eighth with Aaron Brown in ninth, and Roman Lee rounding out our top 10.
Lewis Holloway in 11th with Jacob Magnowski In 12th position, Sergio Resta is in 13th with Riley Mills in 14th. Reed Couch and Kevin Bolland in the 8th row with Bryce Jellison and Jason Willott in 18th. Gerson Herrera next to Brian Schroyer for the 20th spot. Jake Cummings in 21 with Morgan Stringer in 22. Jake Breedlove in the 722 next to Bryce Phillips, and Javier Sierra coming in the rear and P25.
Drivers not getting in times as well in that qualifying, going to show you that track limits is going to be a variable here tonight when it comes to the drivers and the track. Now, before we do get into the night as well, let's take a little moment to mention just exactly what we have going on here at Init Esports and everything in the near future. Starting us off with, of course, our truck race that we have coming up this 13th. That's going to be, yes, just about 1 week away from now. We head over to Daytona for some trucks on the oval layout. That's going to be exciting. We've had our truck series absolutely thriving lately, and we also are going to be heading on to June 27th over to Homestead, Miami. And by the way, folks, if we get a solid over 10 driver roster, that's going to be 10 drivers per race. That's it, by the way. We will be heading over to a league, and we will be officially announcing that as well. So that's a little something to look forward to. Get involved here at Init Esports and get yourself in our truck leagues, as you do not want to miss out on the opportunities. Also, this June 21st, we have our Screen to Speed race coming up as well. That is going to be our all women's championship, and we are going to be, of course, racing over there. It's going to be an absolute thriller. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be an awesome time now as well. Before we do, Sagar, let's again talk a little bit here about some of the potentials that we have with obviously Eric Howell's band being up on the front, but you had mentioned it yourself here, Sagar. In fact, hold on 1 second. I'm seeing something on the timing towers that I'm not so sure about. Edward Onfrey did not hit drive.
It looks to be the case as everybody advances through the grid. Onofre starts from pit lane, or hopefully starts this race at all.
This is not the result that we wanted to start with, that's for sure. However, this is a very, very welcome result for Eric Halsband, Nathaniel Fryman, and Andrew Herschel, who now find themselves all on the top 3 positions. Paul Nye in 4th as well. Another driver that we need to keep an eye on, the unknown variable, with new drivers coming into the grid now. A little reminder as well, as I was mentioning with the Team America Talent Scout and what exactly it is, we're not just looking for the drivers that are winning every event, not necessarily. We're not just looking for the ones that are always up at the top. No, we're looking for drivers that are able to work through adversity, battle their way through the bottom of the grid and all the way back up to the top. So drivers like Edward Onfrey doing this starting from pit lane, while it maybe wasn't intentional, maybe a technical difficulty, this is going to show his mettle no matter what. If he can make a good result out of this, he's certainly a driver to keep an eye on in the near future. Now, other drivers to keep an eye on, Roman Lee, currently starting in 10th position. Curious to see where he's going to finish. He's always worked his way into the podium. And this also, by the way, let's introduce into the booth forecast here down to the bottom right corner. You can see we have weather rolling in from the northeast, and that is going to be hitting fairly shortly. You see that small little blip in the center of your screen? Well, if we can zoom into that real quick, you can see that that is, of course, the racing circuit, and all of those clouds there. It is the lovely Road America track, and all of those clouds coming in from the northeast are going to be coming in quick. We have a 20-mile-an-hour wind heading on our way, so those clouds are not going to be well, they're going to be joining us shortly, let's just say that. Still a bit of time, though, before the rain hits. These drivers are going to be slipping and sliding around like a dog on a freshly finished hardwood floor, and I cannot wait to see exactly how they cope, the strategies in place, and what the drivers are going to be doing as a result. It is a 4 manufacturers, a 4-horse race up at the top 4. We got 4 different cars, all in the top 4. We got Corvette, AMG, Ford, Ferrari, and then a BMW just sneaking into 6th as well. Porsche's in 8th. McLaren's down in 10th. Again, I mentioned how diverse this grid is. You can get a good look of it there. And this is exactly why we love the GT3s. You get plenty of different cars, plenty of different manufacturers, and all of them joining to the track at the same time with that lovely little BOP, making them all just about even. Now, the cars, And getting into the final sector now, we're going to be seeing them stack up. You can see the blimp up at the top as well. We get the lovely shots from the blimp cam. That's our AK Esports blimp up there. No, not quite. I wish we had that money. But of course, we are going to be taking a look from the track side here. There is the blimp cam as well, of course. We got the lovely, lovely blimp cam, seeing all of the cars on the circuit all at the same time and getting ready here to begin. Again, the opening lap, it will be a rolling start for these GT3s. It's not like Formula One where the drivers begin stationary. No, we begin in a roll and we begin quickly. Down we go to the start-finish straight. It looks like beginning very shortly. The pace car will be coming in now. Eric Halsband will be leading us away with Nathaniel Fryman behind. Pace car is in. The de facto lead is handed over to Eric Halsband as we get ready to stack up and go green for Team America Talent Scout Event 5. Here we go. The stampede is here. The green flag is out, and the cars are roaring down to the first corner. It's a long way to the first braking zone as well, so the slipstream going to be playing a massive role, and you can see the clouds in the background already looming and showing their face. Down to the braking zone. Eric Halsband's going to get shifted out by Nathaniel Fryman, who took that inside line. A little contact at the corner. In the background, there's a big crash with Riley Mills spinning around. A great avoidance car. A great avoidance from, I think that was Troyer, Brian Troyer, I'm pretty sure who that was. Managing to get out of the way. Lots of position changes early, Sauger, but it looks like the top three changing slightly. We got Nye up into third, Roberts into fourth, and a few drivers finding the spillway.
And it looks like Edwin Onofre is out on track, but will be a long way down. Here comes a late charge now from Gerson Herrera. That was on Jason Willott as we look forward. This is going to be Jake Cummings, the number 97 driver in the Ford Mustang, looking forward at trying to get a position done on Reed Couch, the number 3 Porsche, right up the road, rocking the Rexy livery.
A little bit of a move now to the inside potentially there, but looking further back, we have Jacob Magnowski as well as Gerson Herrera having their little scrap, and that's Jason Willott trying just to keep ahead for right now. He loves what he sees in his rearview mirror. However, he wants to disappear away from that as quickly as a quick thing in Quicksville, but Couch a little bit further up the road, he is going to be the one to contend with next. Eric Halsband with a 1 second lead over Fryman. By the way, Nye. Oh, Kevin Bolin off. Oh, goodness. Spinning around the wrong way and cutting back through the track. Thankfully, nobody making any issues. He does find himself there with a bit of an out, and unfortunately, he'll have to be rejoining that safely. This is the battle for P2. Sauger, Nathaniel Fryman, and Nye. It looks like Nye is trying to get this on quick. He managed to get the position over Herschel on lap 1. Is he going to be able to do it here now? Down to the start-finish straight. It's going to be side by side. Nathaniel Fryman over Nye, but Nye, can he make something special happen? It looks like he has the momentum, and that Ford absolutely cutting its way through the air. Down to the inside, braking a little bit later, forces his opponent out wide, and Fryman is unfortunately going to hand that one over. Herschel in the background, going to be licking his lips for a potential opportunity, and Mike Pico also gaining some ground in the background with Sean Roberts and Aaron Brown in the pack in 5th. Hold on, Aaron Brown in 5th. That's 4 positions gained. My goodness.
Good charge there. Jake Cummings as well, being the hard charger on the evening. Number 97 driver in 10th position has gained 11 on the evening, so not too shabby there as we look at Aaron Brown, and he's got Sean Roberts behind. We switch over to Jake Cummings and his debut with Sergio Orestes. Let's get a replay of what happened to Riley Mills on this restart in just a few moments. Let's take a look at what happened to Mills in that Ferrari in the background.
Around the outside. Well. Just a touch of the loose curbs, or a touch of the curbs, a little too much right foot, Sauger, and the rest is history, unfortunately. And now we take a look back again with Jake Cummins, who another driver, currently looking at the driver of the day slot, up 11 positions, making a good advantage of some drivers' bad days. But Jake Cummins here, he's doing a really wonderful job, just holding his own up in 10th and a potential 9th position on the horizon as well.
It's definitely looking good for Jake right now as he continues to battle it out. Aaron Brown loses a position up ahead to Sean Roberts, but loses one to Mike Pico. Also, looking back, it'll be Pico and Brown side by side coming through the final corner. There's Jacob Magnowski as well going side by side with Reed Couch through the final corner. There's Magnowski's charging defense. The 54 trying to defend hard but fair. The cars behind. The 54 up ahead tries to go to the outside line at turn 1, but it was occupied by the 3 of Reed Couch, so has to take the defensive line instead. Right now, Hal's band is in the lead of the race, driving the 255 Mercedes to absolute perfection right now.
It certainly is. And by the way, just a little update for anyone that is curious on what the heck is happening on the left side of your screens. Eric Halsband is leading over Paul Knight and Nathaniel Fryman in 4th. We just take a minute. I'm sure that will sort itself out very shortly. It's just iRacing doing iRacing things at the end of the day. Again, it's a wonderful program. We absolutely love it. But it does have its quirks. Nathaniel Fryman, let's talk about him for a second, as he is currently at 0.6 seconds off the back of Phil 9. He's going to be looking to make that ground back up in a short while, and it looks like he is. But at the moment, we take a look back, Gerson Herrera as well as Ownfree. Oh, is that's going to be a free position gain. Ownfree not going to be looking a gift horse in the mouth. And oh, Gerson Herrera a little bit loose, but he manages to keep it under control, catch himself, and he is going to just keep on keeping on. That's a position lost for Gerson Herrera, but in theory, not really, because obviously Ownfree did start this race in P1, or qualified, I should say, in P1. He just did not hit the drive button in time, which means he started in the pit lane. So a bit of a last to first challenge for him, and that's a bit of a challenge, especially with some of these drivers out on the grid. But some drivers to mention as well. Roman Lee, down 3 positions. Somebody I expected to be climbing up the ranks. He has found a negative direction here in this first stint. Now, though, Sauger, we need to mention, this is, again, the first race where this is not going to be 2 races in the Team America Talent Scout event. This is one 50-minute race, so we see these drivers going for aggressive moves early. That's not always the right solution, is it?
No, this is definitely a different flavor than what we've thrown at the Team America Talent Scout event participants before. As here comes Brian Troyer, 36, makes his way through. But no, this is absolutely different than what we're used to seeing. We usually have sprint formats, very quick, punchy, 20-minute, 15-minute races here with Esports. But now we've tried something different. It's gonna be a wrench thrown into the toolbox of the drivers, though, because this will prepare them for more official races, for more league events, for more events in particular. I mean, it just is more akin to what you typically see on the platform, I think. And drivers getting more prepared for real life events or a wider variety of events just makes them more well equipped in general to tackle any challenge that they're faced with. Now, do they want to be thrown weather in a Team America Talent Scout event? Probably not, but you know, it does prepare them for complex league racing as well. With events like the Majors 24 going on last weekend, or this weekend I should say, you know, it's always on people's dream sheets to participate in a 24-hour event, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And a great practice as well for pit stops, as much as you're going to have to be taking part in a 24-hour, obviously. So getting a little bit of practice for pit stops, it would not expect, or I would not be surprised to see some drivers mess that pit stop up as well. None of them have had to do it just yet in a Team America Talent Scout event. I'm going to bite my tongue here on that subject and put a pin in it for later, because this is very exciting. We got 4 very, very aggressive cars on our screen right now. Currently, it's Couch leading Lee, leading Stringer, leading Ownfree. So this is a very, very potentially, I would say, I guess, Mento in a Diet Coke bottle opportunity here. Let's see. Ownfree who, again, started at the top of the race. He's just trying to pick his battles right now and find the best opportunity. I was a little worried he'd be pulling the trigger too early and making a dive bomb, but no, he is a smart driver. You can already see he's got his head well screwed on his shoulders, and he's just waiting for the opportunity to come, picking off the drivers at his discretion, and really just feeling them out. Again, making sure that he knows that he's going to make an overtake rather than thinks he's going to make an overtake, because that, Sauger, is the difference between good and great drivers.
Absolutely. The difference between going for a low percentage move and a high percentage move, and that success rate being there, is just speaks volume to the character of driver that you deal with, right? Because you're making these decisions often at 180 miles an hour with a lot of adrenaline coursing through your veins. So the first decision that you make may not be the right one. So cooler heads will always prevail when it comes to motorsports.
Oh, and is this going to be the opportunity? A little bit of a tire dip deep there for Stringer. Is this going to be Owen Free's chance? No, it looks like not on this occasion. He's going to have to back off and try again another day. Great defense, though. Let's give credit where credit's due here. Morgan Stringer, who has been a defensive masterclass in every single Team America race, pretty much leading up to this point. He has taken part in every, if not almost every Team America Talent Scout event race. And again, time after time, he puts on a stellar defense, makes up ground. This time, I'm singing his praises, and he's going to slip through the rugs. In fact, it's going to be a double, in fact. Edwin Owenfree, we talk about high percentage moves and high intelligence moves. That was a 1,000 IQ move that I don't think anybody saw coming.
No, not at all, especially not Reed Couch, because he was a long way back from Reed to make that one stick. But when Reed saw the big red Ford Mustang in his rearview mirror, he made sure he made way for Edwin Onofre to charge through. And I think, again, self-preservation and cooler heads being prevailed will lead to success at the end of the day. Here's the replay on board with Onofre. Let's take a look at how he navigates the traffic here. He makes a look to the inside line on corner exit, finds a little bit of grass there on the outside line coming out of Canada corner, and then punches it through 13 and 14.
No offense to Morgan Stringer on this one by any stretch. Hold that thought. We got Magnowski going for a defense of a lifetime. He squeezes Orestes massively. In fact, almost a little bit too much, I would say. Orestes is not able to get through this time and is going to have to make that move again. It's going to be a tough battle in the future. Here's Mike Pico also on the back of Sean Roberts. But as I was just going to say, that was a 6,000 I rating move versus a 2,000 I rating driver. No offense. Again, all credit to Morgan Stringer. That was just an absurdly smart move from Edwin, and he kept his foot in it. There was zero hesitation, zero lift, and he kept the momentum and made his presence known. It was a very safe move as well. So really, no harm, no foul, and a brilliant one. And now we got two positions for free. So moving on from that, it's definitely the overtake of the day. I don't think anyone's beaten that. If they do, well, I hope they do. That's going to be extremely exciting. Let's find out. Is it going to be Dawson here as he's heading to the inside of Couch? This move has been in the making for a while now, and it looks like it should be pretty straightforward. Down into the braking zone, late on the brakes. He is going to be able to capitalize on that, and unfortunately for Couch, he is relinquished one more. Not done yet, though, Sauger. It looks like there's still a bit of fight left here for the young Porsche.
Nick Dawson-Lathan was able to get the move done, coming down in towards Canada corner through the kettle bottoms, and out of 13, he's going to lead going on to this next lap. We're already 6 under the books for now, heading on to lap 7 now. Keep an eye on those clouds because they're always looming here at Eckhart Lake, Wisconsin.
We also get a great view here of the Camber and Caster machine. Look at that. By the way, shout out to Camber and Caster, owned by Jesse Laverin down in the greater San Diego area. If you are interested in looking at taking up sim racing, whether you've tried it or not, head on down to Camber and Caster. They'll get you hooked up. You can tell them that you saw it here on Init. It's a great area, great community. You can go and watch races. You can do sim racing. There's so much down at Camber and Caster. And again, Jesse, an awesome guy, and WD-40 being involved with them as well. So definitely check them out. Go get yourself a bottle of WD-40. Why not? You can see, again, brilliant little livery there represented by Lewis Holloway on there. And again, we see, as I'm getting in my ear by Tom Bryant, look at that little creep of color you see up in the top right. I wonder what that is, Sagar.
That's going to be the rain, folks. It is coming. And we're going to start singing that song that everybody knows and loves. I can see
Plus the rain's down in America.
Oh wait, no, that's the rain is gone. I'm so sorry. I'm going to retract everything I just said. There's going to be a song about rain coming up in just a few moments. I'm going to figure out what song that is. But Sean Roberts right now chases down Mike Pico in their battle for their podium spots. Pico sits in P5 pretty promptly, but wants to go forward and chase down Andrew Herschel for P4. But a 4.2 second gap, that's not going to be made up under these dry conditions. It might come down to the wet conditions to really give favor to some drivers and really shake up the grid one more time. Reminder, we're only 15 minutes into this 5-0, 50-minute long race, so plenty more racing action just yet to come.
And the rain, of course, being the great equalizer, as it's often called. We're getting to see some drivers that are maybe fairly quick. Well, they might be pretty slow, and some drivers that are pretty slow. Well, they might be fairly quick. It can flip-flop a field in a heartbeat, and I am absolutely here for it to see what's going to happen. I know some drivers are quite keen on the weather as well. It's starting to rain, by the way, in that final corner. Jason Wallet is in. Is he going for wet tires this early, Sagar? And is that a gamble that's worth taking? Look at that. The rain is already blessed down in America. Is this affecting the traction? We go on board, and it doesn't seem to be just yet. But again, we're on board with drivers who have an immense level of talent here, and seeing that issue can be, well, a bit difficult at times. So far, though, Sagar, fairly planted.
As the track is going to continue to evolve, the drivers are going to have to decide what the optimum strategy is going to look like. Magnowski chases down Holloway just up the road, up to the inside line before the entrance to the carousel, but there was no doing there just yet. Again, I just keep on getting excited about this pit stop cycle. I know we were expecting one due to the fuel, but now we're expecting one due to the rain. Oh my goodness, this really throws a wrench into anybody's strategy that was up at the front. They've got to start covering off decisions from behind quickly.
And look at that. Both Wallet and Schroyer have gone for the big brain play of switching over to wet tires. Oh, and that might be a good play. Look at that. We have drivers sailing off the circuit already as the water is logging everything. Are we going to see a sea of drivers into pit lane? No, we're not, but we're going to see a spinner in the background. That's going to be Aaron Brown, I think, that made it round. No, Aaron Brown's in the pit lane. It was Stringer, Morgan Stringer. Unfortunately, loops it in the final corner. Now, Sagar, drivers coming in, drivers staying out. I like the drivers coming in decision. What are your thoughts on these guys staying out?
I think the drivers that stayed out really are risking it right now. They don't know what's coming as we get a quick replay of what happened here in the background of that shot. It looks like a move to the inside line. The number 91 just seemingly loses it on their own, getting on the loud pedal, and the Corvette almost having a sympathy spin on their own as well before coming down pit road and realizing the risk wasn't worth it.
Oh, and as we rejoin, that is, well, kind of an answer, I think, to our question. Should the drivers have stayed on dries? No, Andrew Herschel has clattered the barrier, it looks like, as a result. So that is the wrong decision made. He left the door open, slammed in his face. Aaron Brown leading the field on wets. I don't think this is going to stay. I don't think Aaron is going to be necessarily in the lead at the end of all of this, but look at that, Sagar. That yellow, let me just tell you this right now for the audience at home, that doesn't mean the rain's getting lighter.
That's accurate and confirmed. The rain is only going to get worse and worse. So from Brown back, the drivers have decided to take their wet weather tires, but the race is still on for the drivers that risked it all on the dries. And it
looks like Jake Cummings and Sean Roberts haven't settled their bout yet coming in through Canada. It will be a little look to the outside line because we've got a car spun off. Is that Roman Lee?
No, it was Orestes? It was a back marker. It was a back marker. Okay. Yeah, chaos. I'm not sure this is the time nor the place to be battling. Let's just hold off, boys. Let's get some wet tires on and then send it. Right now, they're driving like it's the last lap of a race on dries, and there they go, into the pit lane. Are they going to get stopped in time? This is a good question. Did the drivers practice their pit entries? This is something I haven't gotten to say in a long time, Sagar. Again, practice your pit entries, folks. You do laps and laps and laps and laps out on the track, and nobody practices their pit entries. I hope they did. I hope drivers did. I don't see any black flags other than Phillips, so I think we're going to be pretty good on that front. But every single driver, Sagar, has come into the pit lane and now is getting a fresh set of wet boots to go out on track. And as we saw that radar, well, the rain isn't going anywhere for the next probably 20 minutes at least.
How does this shake up the order, though, as drivers get cycled through pit lane? It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. By the looks of it, it will be Eric Hausman, Nathaniel Fryman, Paul Nye, the 1-2-3 punch combo for now.
Mike Pico getting up in the fourth. Nicely done, Mike. 2 positions gained for him. 16 positions gained for Jake Cummins. An absolute madman. I don't know what he put in his Wheaties for breakfast this morning, but it certainly must have been goat milk. He is on a tear, and it looks like he's not done yet. Mike Pico up the field now. Mike, he mentioned that he was joining in this race to battle with Eric Hausman. He might have that opportunity. Unfortunately for Lewis Holloway, he will not have that chance as he has found himself facing the wrong direction in the infield. He manages to get it facing the right way, back out onto the circuit with no issues, but that's going to be some grass picked up on the tires and an unwelcome trip to the outside. And now have to come back on with a few positions lost.
Here's Roman Lee getting it all wrong into the braking zone down at turn 5. As he just locked up those wheels a little bit. He's got to adjust the brake bias there behind Andrew Herschel. He sits that Ferrari. And then number 51, Roman Lee, not having a great time of things right now, but neither is Herschel. I think all the drivers are struggling with these wet conditions as the rain comes down in absolute buckets.
A massive clattering as Paul Nye and it looks like a back marker have come together. Mike Pico manages to get by. No, that is Fryman. No, that's Nathaniel Fryman that he's made contact with. A battle of the ages, and the two titans have clashed. Now, unfortunately, it was devastating. Both drivers losing positions rapidly down the order, and now Edwin Onfrey is gonna find a free position himself. Let's take a look at this one once more. Around the outside goes the Ford Mustang. Paul Nye, though, gets, well, no. Actually, no, it's hard one to call, to be honest. The McLaren looks like, or the Corvette, excuse me, looks like it drifts a little bit wide. Doesn't leave the room. It's hard to tell. The stewards will certainly, Sagar, have to be investigating that one after this race.
Always a job I do not envy is being a race steward, as calling those shots is definitely difficult to do, especially when they're going at, around 130 miles an hour through that carousel as well. Jacob Magnowski getting chased down by Sergio Orestes. These two have not gotten separated during their pit stop cycle at all. The 54 leads the 86 and continues their bout. Here comes a little bit of a cheeky block from Magnowski over to the left-hand side, but leaves plenty of room for Sergio Orestes there. And there goes Orestes under brakes, got a huge wiggle, and that's going to send him into the 54. And that's, unfortunately, the result there is a missing wing on Magnowski.
Every bit of downforce is going to be necessary in these conditions, so that will be a meatball flag and a trip back to the pit lane. Well, actually, no meatball flag, but will be a trip down to the pit lane regardless. I don't think that car is going to be getting any balance. Whoa, is that just a camera angle? There was nothing wrong with that. That's fine. I just got scared. Everyone's fine. Nye Onfrey in a bit, or excuse me, Brown and Onfrey in a little bit of a scrap now, and Onfrey's going to have to find his way by fairly quick here. He's managed to get the most strategic positions yet, and what I mean by that is every single overtake that Onfrey has made has been seemingly the easiest overtake ever. He makes it look that way, at least. I can assure you it is not the case. Drivers, again, to keep an eye on as well. Brown is one that I'm very curious on, but again, Mike Pico up into second place now. 9 seconds off the back of Eric Halsband. There's a chance that he gets his wish here tonight and will be battling with Eric and for P1. Let's see. Mike has found some luck in previous races in Team America. Will this be the night again? We're on board with Onfrey right now in the spray of Aaron Brown, and visibility is minimal, Sauger. Look at that. Once you go into the spray, you can't see a darn thing. How are you supposed to make an overtake in these conditions?
Fryman and Cummings in a bit of a battle for P3 and P4 up the road also, as they exchange their elbows out and a little bit of paint between each other. We keep our eyes here on the Onofre, Nye, and Lee chase as the cork on the bottle seemingly becomes apparent. It'll be that Porsche, the number 18, bunching up the field behind.
By the way, I mentioned on the Jake Cummins battle, he is now up 18 positions. I just had to throw that one in there real quick. But back to the action on track right now, or at least the action on our screen. Roman Lee on the inside, Nye on the out. Nye's been in contact fairly recently, and he's going to be hungry to make up some positions down into the braking zone. It's going to be advantage to Roman. Let's see, though, out of the exit. A bit of a wiggle, a potential opportunity again now for the Mustang, as Paul is going to find himself side by side, but is he going to get blocked by one of these cars up ahead? Potentially, but he's going to keep his foot in it, continuing side by side now, Porsche and Mustang. It's going to be advantage to Roman for the time being, but again, looking up ahead, Porsche and Mustang, Onfrey and Brown side by side, heading into the braking zone. This time, though, I think the Mustang is going to find an advantage. Now, hold that thought. The Porsche specialties are the brakes, but not in this instance. Aaron, a little too late on the brakes. He's going to run out wide, and that's going to give the position over to Edwin very handedly. Now he can look up the road to Sean Roberts, who's about 1.3 seconds. Aaron Brown going to try to grasp onto the back, while the battling in the background between Nye and Lee continues on handedly, and back markers also playing a role.
Oh, there goes a move from the long-legged Mustang. In the background, Nye was trying to go for a move there on Lee, using traffic to his advantage, but it didn't work out there into the braking zone at turn 8 now into the carousel. It'll be single file line, but a spinner in front of Nye will send the driver around, but will Nye get through cleanly? It looks like he did.
Can't tell. I think that was Kevin Ballin or Jacob. I'm not sure who that was, but goodness me. Now Nye is off the track. Now behind Monkey See, Monkey Do. Is that Andrew Herschel, who's found himself off the track? Yes, it certainly is. He's exited stage left. Now Andrew trying to battle with his conditions. The track is seemingly the biggest enemy out of anybody here tonight. Anyone other than this man on your screen, Edwin Onfrey, who we've done nothing but sing praises for, both him and Jake Cummins, the two drivers that have just done a stellar drive here tonight. Really nothing to shake a stick at. Aaron Brown, another one that has been doing incredible. He's up 2 positions though right now. Let's see if he can make it a third on to Roberts. More spinners, Sauger. It seems like every second, every lap at least, we have some form of incident in some way, shape, or form. This track is brutal right now.
With all the standing water on the racing surface right now, every lap becomes a lesson learned for the drivers as puddles begin to form and dissipate in certain parts of the racing line. Drivers need to figure out where they can and cannot drive their cars. Although they do have tread for the rain tires, it's not enough to dissipate the massive puddles.
And not enough to dissipate any body damage, as we see a meatball flag for Brian Schroyer, a black flag for Dawson Lathan. Side by side, though, for Onfrey, as he's trying to make his move onto Nathaniel Fryman. and this is going to be, again, another one that just makes it look like taking candy from a baby. He gets through without any issue, and that is going to be that. Sean Roberts, oh no, what's happened here? How did that happen? How did Sean Roberts end up sideways? Well, so we're good. Assuming the conditions, let's take a look at the replay, though, Sauger, and see what happened.
Sean Roberts coming down to the braking zone of turn 5. It looks okay until it all isn't. He gets on the loud pedal on corner exit, and that'll send him around the 333, falling worse for wear in that situation.
It's just been a tough battle for Sean Roberts in these past few races. We did see, again, new podium sitters in the previous race. Bronson Turner, who's taken part in every single Team America Talent Scout event, except for this one, it is to be noted. He did find himself on a podium, so that is awesome to see. Jake Cummins also, of course, finding a good result in the previous one. He managed to finish second last time around. Let's see what he can manage this time as another car is facing the barrier, and I think the amount of gray names that we see in the bottom left is a testament to these track conditions here tonight. That, by the way, was Sean Roberts again finding the barrier, and I'm assuming the damage that he picked up earlier not helping any at all. Let's see as he's going to be finding another escort over onto the barrier, spins around, and actually keeps it out of the wall. Yes, he does. So no damage to be incurred other than the pride and ego that is going to be falling with that. Now back to Aaron Brown, who's on a bit of a charge, Sauger. You think he can make a move onto Roman Lee soon? We've seen Roman make mistakes in the past. Is he going to make one here tonight?
Last time around was a 228.9 compared to Roman Lee's 227.4. So Lee having that significant amount of confidence in the lead of that battle. Let's see what Aaron Brown can do to pick up the pace and his confidence from P6. Fryman's into the pit lane, the number 27, probably to take care of some damage. Jake Breedlove, Brian Troyer, all in the pits as well with Bryce Phillip.
This has been a bit of a demolition derby tonight for some. Now, other drivers making the best of a bad situation. It seems like as well, we talked about having a very diverse field spread at the beginning of this race. It seems like it's sort of worked itself out to the front engine cars here in these rainy conditions. Eric Hausman in the AMG, the BMW of Mike Pico, the Ford of Jake and Edwin, and the Porsche, surprisingly, of Roman Lee and Aaron Brown. So the Porsche with the rear engine doing pretty well in these rainy conditions as well. The first mid-engine car down in 7th with the Ferrari of Andrew Herschel. So it seems like the mid-engine cars struggling in the rain at Road America.
Yeah, it is interesting to see the difference in the manufacturers as well. We have 3 in the top 3 right now. It's pretty interesting to see how it all fares at the end of the day. Hausband with an 11.3 second gap to Mike Pico. We know he wants to challenge Hausband as much as he can this event, but I don't know if that's a gap that can come down. It gave some faith to the pit stop cycle, but at the end of the day, it didn't give Pico the opportunity that he was looking for. It gave him a lot of positions, that's for sure. He cycled his way up into P4, and then opportunities presented themselves up into P2.
Here's a little look at a replay, by the way. This is going to be the 51 having another issue. We've seen this spin time and time again. I can't count. I don't have enough fingers to count how many times we've seen that spin and how many times we're going to see it the rest of the night. I do want to take a little moment here, by the way, to mention, by the way, folks, if you are interested, we host other leagues than just the Team America Talent Scout event. In fact, one of those ones that we host is our all-women's championship known as Screen to Speed. You can scan that QR code down in the bottom right and head yourself over to our website, or you can visit initesports.gg/Carson or screentospeed.com for more information. Our next race is going to be on Snetterton in the Mazda MX-5, and that is going to be on June 21st. So just around the corner is going to be our next all-women's race. You can head on over, get yourself involved, scan that QR code. Now, back to the action as Mike Pico. We were talking about mistakes from Eric Hausband. I did not have on my bingo card Mike Pico making a mistake. Maybe I should have. Mike Now, battling with Jake Cummins, who's found himself up into second position. That is 19 positions gained.
Absolutely phenomenal stuff. And now the battle for P2 becomes a little bit thicker. Let's get a look at what happened to the BMW driver coming down in towards turn 5. He just missed his brake point, it looks like, or it looks like the brakes just stopped working, and he comes back onto the racetrack in front of Jake Cummings, who then takes the position without asking twice.
That's one of those ones where you missed the braking board that you were trying to go for, and you went for the one 50 meters too late. Oh no, Mike Pico, 50 meters too early on his acceleration this time, as he's found himself facing the wrong way and out. Oh no, a retirement. That seems, he was in a pretty good position, but regardless, he finds himself out of the race, and that is going to be a free position gain for Edwin Onfree, Roman Lee, and Aaron Brown, and the rest of the field following suit. A race of what could have been, I think, for Mike Pico is the story of tonight. And maybe just the weather kind of piling it in at the end here. It seems like, though, it has maybe stopped raining a little bit. I don't know if we can take a look at the radar. The cars on track, Sauger, seem to say otherwise.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the weather is relenting anytime soon. It seems more like it's battering the drivers more than anything. There's the forecast back in the booth with us, giving us a clear view that the weather is still slapping the the racetrack. As we have look at Eric Howell's band, again, our race leader, who's leading by 13.6 seconds in front of Jake Cummings, who's up those commanding 19 positions, and fortune favoring some but not others, as Morgan Stringer, who is up 12 positions, gets handed a black flag penalty.
And that is going to be track limits coming to play for yet another driver. Side by side for Eric Howell's band with a back marker. A little less exciting than we would have liked it to be, but a battle for the lead nonetheless. That's Brian Troyer getting out of the way and making it nice and easy for Eric Howell's band. Lewis Holloway with a black flag as well. This is starting to crumble here for some drivers, Sauger. Road America, I knew it was going to be a challenge. I had no idea it was going to be this difficult. These drivers are suffering out here on this circuit. And as you mentioned, it's a rain track. I think that's the best description we've had so far.
Yeah, it's been so punishing for the drivers. Here comes Holloway down pit road to serve his penalty. Onfree in the 199 has been favoring pretty well this evening. If I was a betting man, I could have placed a promising bet on him to climb back up into the podium, but it might not work out this way to the end of the race. Taking a look at his incident count, he might have used up his incidents towards the end of this one.
He's gonna have to drive pixel perfect if he wants to stay within the legality of the off tracks. Now, Jake Cummins, I think he has a little bit of room to flirt with, and Eric Howell's band has sort of just been in cruise mode. His lap times are really, they're not particularly exciting. His best lap, a 2:04.6. His previous lap was a 2:26, so not quite up to the dry pace. Shocker, I know. But he's really lapping, again, 2:28 on this lap. Sort of, I don't want to say lazily, but certainly not putting in the pace that, for example, Roman Lee at 2:25. We see Edward Onfree again at 2:25, 2:26 from Jake Cummins. So Eric losing a couple seconds. Now, that could have been that back marker that played the role there with Brian Troyer, and I'm assuming that's going to play dividends with all of the other drivers as well. But as of right now, Eric, he's sort of just on autopilot with a 10-second gap, but it can't get too comfortable at Sauger, because you can see here, the conditions are still dicey.
Even if the conditions were to stop raining absolutely at this very moment, we definitely wouldn't be in a situation for drivers to switch over to dry tires at all, because the track is still consumed with puddles and standing water everywhere you look. The drivers are squirming all over the racetrack. Here we look at Nick Dawson-Lathan, pilot of the number 100, having a couple slip and slide moments right now. And as he gets on the accelerator, you can see that he is just having a little bit of issue having a conversation with traction.
I think that's a summary for all drivers out here tonight, battling with traction more than they're battling with other drivers, but still having to fight with others as well, despite the tricky conditions. Let's see here. Nick Dawson-Lathan in the slipstream, and with a good run, can he make the opportunity now into a strike? No, he's not that close in the braking zone. He's about 5/10 back. Again, the camera playing tricks on my eyes. I thought he was a little bit closer. Well, he's going to have to try again on another lap, but he's going to stay in that slipstream, work his opponent, feel him out like a boxer, and when he sees that opportunity, he will strike and get the move done quickly. We hop on board with that Corvette and get to hear the lovely engine sound that iRacing has to offer.
Those are some of the best engine sounds out there. Of course, the Mercedes V8, the Mustang V8, Corvette V8, the Audi V10, and who could be remiss without mentioning that lovely Lamborghini V10. But unfortunately for Riley Mills and his 112 Ferrari, that V6 isn't purring like a kitten any longer.
I think Mills got a little scared. Lathan missed his braking zone, where he was going to go deep. He was not going to hit Mills, but I think Mills thought he was going to get hit, so he overreacted, which caused him to spin. A bit of a cause and effect there. Unfortunately, the only driver to blame is Mills at the end of the day, as it was his own fault. But regardless, it's an unfortunate situation. This is Edwin Onfrey, by the way. Again, another... would I call him the driver of the day? I'm not sure. It's definitely a battle, and we are taking a look at the chats, by the way. Put in a note. Who do you think got the driver of the day, folks? Is it Jake Cummins? Is it Edwin Onfrey? Edwin started on pole position in qualifying. However, he did not start. Started in the pit lane and managed to come back to third position. Jake Cummins did not start in the pit lane. He did start in, 21st position, and he's managed to gain back up to second. So I'll let you folks at home decide who's it going to be. Edwin Onfrey, Jake Cummins, driver of the day. This is not a driver of the day move, unfortunately, as we have a bit of an incident from Dawson in the Corvette once more. And really, I mean, Sagar, what do you make of that? He's driving and he's spinning. I mean, that's one that I don't think you can blame anybody for.
It's a difficult situation to be in. Just the track conditions are so punishing right now. Drivers are getting, like I said earlier, challenged lap after lap with the evolving track conditions, and a position you might not have been able to accelerate before, there might be a standing puddle in now, and vice versa could be true as well.
Now, I've just went over to my friendly neighborhood AI and asked it a quick question. I was just curious, how many Olympic swimming pools would fit end-to-end along Road America? And the answer is 130. Now, what you're going to do with this information, I'm not fully sure, but that's sort of what's in my mind right now, is these guys are basically just driving on a swimming pool, not really a actual tarmac surface. So gravel also being brought onto the track, making things even more difficult for some. But as of right now, Edwin Onfrey, he's gaining onto the back of Jake Cummins. Do we see a battle for P2 on the horizons?
Hope we do. For everybody's sake, Edwin Onfrey 1.3 seconds off of Jake Cummins in his chase for P2. It's looking like we're gonna have a battle going into the final 5 minutes of this race. Just under 8 left on the clock. Mike, who do you have on your cards?
I'll be honest, Eric Halsman has shown quite amount of consistency. Again, his lap times are still not the most impressive, a 2:25.4, but they've been consistent. And I think Eric, despite the fact that he has had some issues in the past, I think he's going for his debut victory here for the Team America Talent Scout event. Eric Halsman looking to pick up his first win ever here, and I think he's going to do it with bright fashion. He's got 10 seconds over the rest of the field. He's got, well, a little less than 10 minutes left in the race. Jake Cummins is not gaining, so barring a mistake, he has this secured. Now, I also think that there's a potential mistake on the horizon from either Edwin or Jake Cummins. So Roman Lee, a potential position gain as well. I think every single race that Roman has started, he started outside the top 10 or in 10th position, and he's finished on the podium. Is he going to break that trend tonight by finishing in 4th?
Roman Lee in his chase right now. I'm going to keep an eye on the timing tower because I'm seeing drivers with, well, faster lap times than those in front of them by a significant amount. And I wonder what's doing there, such as the likes of Jason Willott, who is nearly 10 seconds faster than Riley Mills on that previous lap.
Potential battles in the future. Another one again that we will see. I'm hearing uh-ohs in the background as it looks like Lewis Holloway has had an issue, unfortunately. That's going to be the Camber and Caster McLaren driving very, very slowly. And it looks like in good condition. Oh, goodness, no. Okay. That is not a showroom-ready McLaren. Now, you look at it from the front, pristine, beautiful. You look at it from the back, not so much. I'm assuming he went rear first into a barrier. Let's find out, Soccer.
Yeah, let's see what exactly happened here. Coming down the back stretch, it looks like, coming down in towards the kink. He's losing it, and then just a bonk to the front wall, but it looks like he's already lost that rear fender, so some already existing damage on that number 93 before we got there.
That makes a lot of sense. Losing the car in that position is not that it's not impossible, but not that easy. So lacking downforce already would definitely cause that. A front bonk to the nose is not going to send your rear splitter off. He's apparently been missing that for 3 laps now, so credit where credit's due that he didn't spin before that, to be completely honest. Though Lewis back into pit lane, he's going to get that repaired, become a showroom-ready McLaren, and he'll be back out on track in no time and ready to take the checkered flag. 5 minutes left here in this race. Own free. Lap times still stagnant in terms of Cummins and Owen Free. They're both lapping about identically. But every now and then, that gap does come down. It gives that prospect, but then immediately it comes right back up as it's forward-on-forward violence, Sauger. This is as equal of an equal battle you can get, but I'm hearing in my ear right now from Tom Bryant, our producer, it's about to start raining.
With a couple minutes left in this race, the final 5, we know that the rain, when it comes, it just sets on the track very quickly. Drivers have had no time to react. Even one lap around 2 minutes was too late for the drivers who made those late pit stop calls, as Jake Cummings was one of the earlier pit stop drivers, and it definitely paid out well for him. Edwin Onofre making an early call himself, and it worked out well. Down 2 positions, but up the entire field basically at the end of the night. In his chase with Jake Cummings, that number 97 breaks a little bit early into Canada Corner, only to get a better exit through turn 13 and on towards 14.
And now through turn 14 and 15, we're on to the final corner, I should say, through turn 14, we see the rain starting to glimpse the track. And this is going to shake things up potentially again. That 9/10 gap, is that going to come down now? Everything is back up in the air. The drivers, they thought they were used to the circuit. Now they weren't, or now it's far from it. There was even a dry line forming there briefly, but now it's going to be squashed back into the wetness. A bit of wiggling already we can see in the braking zone. These drivers are still on wet tires, so due to the fact that it's been dry, they're going to probably have overheating tires, Sauger, and now heading into wet conditions, they're going to basically be on slicks in the wet again.
It'll be interesting to see who is saved a little bit of their tread for these final few minutes. Edwin Onofre definitely has burned up rubber trying to get by the entire field. Does he have anything left to throw at Jake Cummings going into the final few laps? It's a half-second gap right now into the braking zone. Here's Jake Breedlove with a little bit of damage to that rear wing and possibly a tire to boot that's missing. Yeah, the right rear tire that's going to be a tow back home.
That's a long way back to pit lane, crab walking like that for the AMG. Very unfortunate. Heading back to P3, though, the gap is not changing still. Again, these two almost in exact synchronicity. Like that word? That's a big word. Let's take a look at a replay of what has happened here. So this is exactly, this is the AMG that we were just taking a look at. Let's see what has befall them. Oh my goodness, this is a high speed, and a high collision impact there, leaving the rear bumper wedged in the car, just briefly, before the stewards could remove it and they can get back to pit lane. Now, back to P3. Is this going to happen? He did end up towing, by the way. Dawson is back into the pit lane along with a lot of other drivers. Excuse me, Braidlove that was joining them. And again, plenty of drivers finding their way back to pit lane here tonight, with the weather being the ultimate variable. The contact with the drivers, not an issue. Contact with the wall, well, a little bit more difficult to deal with than we expected. This is going to be the white flag lap, by the way, folks. Eric Howell's band is going to be taking home the victory more than likely. Now, it's not over until it's over. Still 2 minutes and 25 seconds left. But we will see the checkered flag one more time, Sauger.
Here it comes one more time around this iconic racetrack that was founded in 1955. The 4.048 miles, or 6.515 kilometers. The 14 corners, 8 to the right, 6 to the left track around Lake Eckhart, Wisconsin. Or excuse me, Eckhart Lake is the town, Wisconsin. There's no lake nearby, from what I can ascertain.
It's Wisconsin. I'm sure there's a lake, but either way.
There's one lake, Mike. There's one lake.
It's a big one. It's a very big one. But anyways, as the drivers enjoy their parade lap here at this point, as it seems, it looks like Edwin Onfrey has lost a little bit of pace in the dying embers of this race. The tire treads, not there. Also, of course, just the intermediate conditions, or the interchanging conditions, I should say, playing a massive role. But this is the man, the myth, the legend. It's Eric Howell's band, who has led every single lap of this race, despite the fact, of course, that Edwin Onfrey did not start. That is to be mentioned, but doesn't matter. Eric Howell's band, he was there at the right time and in the right spot to take home the best spot of all, P1. Now, he's still got about a minute left here before he reaches the checkered flag, but this is going to be an all Eric lap to go through. And of course, now, I think his teammates, Russell Soto, and of course everybody behind him over at Thay's Competition, are going to be cheering his name. If he does make a mistake right now, I'm going to look like a fool, but I don't think he will. Eric Howell's band is driving to perfection. And again, his team over at Thay's Competition going to be giving him a round of applause here, as this is going to be his debut victory for the Team America Talent Scout. He's been in plenty of races. He's driven almost every single event in Team America Talent Scout event. He joined us at Indy for PRI, and tonight he's going to be joining the winner's circle as he crosses the line first. Eric Howell's band takes victory for Team America Talent Scout event 5. Behind
Amazing
him,
drive from Howell's band tonight. Jake Cummins coming back in P2, and Edwin Onfrey rounding out the podium in third.
Roman Lee breaking his trend of starting in 10th and finishing in third. He finishes in 4th. It's an unfortunate result, but still a great result for Roman Lee. Certainly nothing to shake a stick at. Aaron Brown, finally, I didn't commentators curse you, Aaron. I was trying not to mention your name the whole race. And you finished in 5th. Good on you, buddy, in the Porsche as well. We got Nye, who was running in 2nd position for a while. He unfortunately did have a bit of a mistake. He's finished now in 6th position. And behind Sauger, it looks like still a little bit. No, excuse me, that is decided. It's a back marker. That's Andrew Herschel. Going to be coming home in 7th. Sean Roberts, 8th. Reed Couch in 9th. And rounding out our top 10, Morgan Stringer up 12 positions.
Sergio Orestes is going to bring it home in P11, and Mills with a black flag across the line will bump him back down the order. Fryman in 13th, Willott, and then we have our drivers finished already, Holloway and Troyer, and then our DNFs, Dawson, Lathan, Pico, Breedlove, Magnowski, Phillips, Bolland, Jellison, Herrera, and Sierra.
And that, folks, is going to do it here for Event 5 of the Team America Talent Scout. This has been an exciting one. It's been dry, it's been wet, there's been ups, there's been downs, and my goodness, there's been a lot of drivers hitting the wall at certain times, but a lot of them prevailing and making the best of a bad situation. Drivers like Onfrey, for example, missing the start and managing to finish in third position. There's a lot of stories to be told here tonight, Sagar.
Absolutely, a lot of drivers that rose to the occasion, and some of them that succumbed to the challenge tonight here at Eckhart Lake, Wisconsin. Now, it'll be time for us to get a word from the drivers in a few minutes to decide or figure out how they got along with the racetrack and what it took to get to the top, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere, folks. If you are watching over on Esports Edge as well, we'll be having a little brief advertisement. But if you are watching on any other platform, we will still be here the whole time. And of course, thank you to all the VOD watchers as well behind the scenes, and also, of course, after the event. If you guys are enjoying it, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also go over to our website, get involved in the Discord community, and join Init Esports. Again, that's initesports.gg/carsim for our website, and plenty of events can be found over there. We'll be discussing that here in a little bit. In fact, why don't we talk about it now? Of course, we have not just our events that we are hosting, we also have a team over at Init Esports, and we are going to be taking part in the Watkins Glen race here coming up in a couple weeks. If you are interested, you can scan that QR code for more information over on our website about the Init Esports team and get involved here again with the community. And again, the next race that we are going to be driving is going to be the Watkins Glen 6-hour on the 20th. We also have, of course, coming up our Daytona truck race. That's going to be on June 13th. Coming up very shortly next week, in fact. You don't want to miss out. If we can get 10 drivers consistently in our truck series, we're going to be hosting a league post. And on top of that, June 27th is going to be the race after. We head over to Miami for another event in the trucks. So there you can see, you can scan that QR code, get involved in the Discord for all of the truck information that you are looking for. It has been an absolutely electric series, it is to be said so far. Constant battling and very, very respectful racing. Again, 2 p.m. Eastern time. If you are interested, scan that QR code and get involved in our Discord. Now though, Sagar, as we wait to round up some of these drivers and wait for some to come in, I'm excited to talk to, again, a new winner, as we are going to go through real quick and let's talk about the results, the official, unofficial results here tonight as we get ready before the scoring. Of course, within 24 hours, we'll be having the stewards take a look and change some things. But as it stands right now, Eric Halsband, he's going to be your victor. The 255 taking the victory by 7.8 seconds over Jake Cummins, who put up a great fight, but just wasn't there, unfortunately, due to the fact that he started 19 positions down. Edward Onfrey, a great drive as well, managing to start in the pit lane, finished in third, with Roman Lee starting in 10th, finishing in 4th. Aaron Brown, a brilliant drive from him, 4 positions gained for the 18, managing to finish in 5th. Paul Nye, unfortunately 6th for him, still not a bad result. He did lose 1 position overall, but was in 2nd at one point with that contact with Andrew Herschel, who also finished in 7th. Sean Roberts, 8th position, with Reed Couch behind in 9th, and Morgan Stringer rounding out your top 10.
In 11th, it'll belong to Sergio Orestes, Nathaniel Fryman in 12th, Riley Mills in 13th, Jason Willott in 14th. 15th for Lewis Holloway, Brian Troyer, the Nick Dawson Lathan, Mike Pico, Jake Breedlove, Bryce Phillips, Jacob Magnowski, Kevin Bolland, Bryce Jellison, Gerson Herrera, and Javi Sierra finishing this one out.
And folks, that is going to be your, again, official results for tonight. We are going to be hearing from our drivers very, very shortly, so don't go anywhere, folks. We're rounding them out, or rounding them up right now as we speak, and they will be joining us very, very shortly. But again, a big warm welcome, everybody, back to the commentators booth. Myself, Mike Noss, alongside Sagar Bakshi, once again here for the Team America Talent Scout Event 5, rounded up in a very exciting fashion, a very wet fashion. It's to be mentioned as well, Sagar. Damp over half the race. I think we expected it to rain kind of towards the second half. That wasn't quite the case. It rained 15, nearly 20 minutes in, and it didn't look back.
I feel like it was even sooner than that. We were only a few laps into the race before the sprinkles started to come down, and then it was the decision of, do I come in now? Do I come in a lap later? And by the time you were making that decision, it was already a lap too late for some of the drivers on the field, and started to coming to mistakes from having dry tires on a very, very wet track. As the evolution just became so quick, it was just sprinkling at one end of the track for a moment, and then all of a sudden the entire track was drenched.
Not the sprinkles you want on your ice cream at all. But that is to mention Aaron Brown being one of those drivers as well that took tires very early and had great success as well. But that's enough of that for right now. We have our drivers coming on in, and it looks like we get to hear from third position up first. It's our newest driver to the field in terms of our top three. It is Edwin Onfrey. Edwin, how you doing?
I don't know about you. First, I felt frustrated, and now I felt pretty excited. The fact that was able to get from podium after I made a mistake trying to set up my car, I'm like, oh my God. I was yelling to my teammate who finished in P2. I'm like, oh my goodness. But hey, I was able to make the most out of it. How about you guys? Did you enjoy that?
That was a very exciting race, especially when it comes to the amount of mistakes that we saw through it. And you kind of answered my question that I was going to start with, is what happened at the start. And well, setup issues, getting a little too in depth with your setup is what it sounds like, trying to perfect it a little too much, but it worked out for you. Third position is an incredible result from the bottom of the grid. Again, I was battling between both you and Jake Cummins, which you guys are teammates, in terms of who is driver of the day. And to be honest, again, putting that up to the vote of the people for who gets that one. Jake also having a great drive as well. Let's talk about the end of that race, because that kind of, I think, settles what I had in my mind. So those two, of course, you being teammates with him, I'm assuming you weren't being too aggressive in terms of striking, because it did look like you had a lot of pace at the end.
You're correct about that. I did have a lot of pace, but as I was trying to catch up to them, I think I saw Pico just spin out around the carousel. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh, okay, I just got P3. That's all that matters. Now, of course, as a driver, we all want to strive for the best finishing position. But if I was not able to catch up to my teammate, then I'm like, okay, just settle in. Just don't make a mistake. You already went from last place after a setup issue to a P3, and that's already impressive for the cameras too. You already saw that, how we went from last place, try to manage the start with all the drivers who were spinning out, make sure you don't get in physical contact, which I actually did get a little bit of damage at the start of it, but I was able to use a fast repair, and then from there on out was taking advantage of the wet setup, which I did use the wet setup at the beginning. And I was surprised that I got the fastest lap out of it. I'm like, okay, well, okay, maybe this is a good sign. Just take it nice and easy. And I was able to catch up to Jake, who had a really great race too. Sign up at the last 3 minutes of the race. I'm like, oh God, is he going to be able to get the practice in or able to get the pace out of it? And sure enough, he proved it to you. He'll tell you more about his race afterwards.
Yeah, very much excited. Saga will be catching up with Jake. But I have to say, Edwin, you pretty much answered every question and more that I could have had. So I really appreciate that. This has been a great interview. Is there anybody, before we do let you go here tonight, is there anyone that you would like to thank for your P3?
All right, first and foremost, Tech Sport Racing. They were actually in Mid-Ohio a few days ago, and looks like our Devin Anderson actually ended up winning the second race, so congratulations to him, and congrats to all the Tech Sport teammates as well, including Jay Cummings, who got P2 in this race, so you guys are back to talk to him. Shout out to you guys for hosting this broadcast. I really appreciate it, and thank you for the interview for both of you, and not only that, thank you for all the people who are watching on Twitch, on YouTube, on Esports. I appreciate that. Look forward to Tech Sport Racing on the socials for this promotion of ours for the esports races that we're going to be planning on doing soon, and for my own broadcast too. I also stream on Twitch if you guys want to check that out soon. Okay, anyway, this is more about you guys. Okay, I'll leave you guys to it. I appreciate that. All right,
no worries. Thank you so much, Edwin. Congratulations, your debut race and your debut podium to boot. Edwin Onfrey, everybody, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much. And that, folks, is going to be Edwin Onfrey again, taking home third position, a last to first challenge. Didn't quite work out, Sagar, but a third, and he's very happy with that. I have to say, that was an awesome interview.
Fantastic to always hear from Edwin. He's a very down-to-earth individual as well when it comes to grassroots racing, and just enjoys being a combatant in a field full of good drivers. So I'm glad he was able to drag along a friend with him and have some fun out here tonight.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to be hearing from that friend as well very shortly. That, of course, is going to be Jake Cummins, as we're going to be having the chance here very shortly. Or Sagar, I think you've had the chance to catch up with Jake, and we get to hear a little bit of the perspective of P2. Now, I think at the end, that explains a lot in terms of our striking, but we're going to hear it now. Sagar, all over to you.
Jake, how are you feeling after a very wet race out there tonight? Jake, are you there? Do you have a copy?
Oh, he's left the Discord. We'll be hearing from Jake very shortly.
Jake, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Perfect. Jake, how do you feel after a very, very difficult race tonight?
Oh man, yeah, that was pretty crazy, and I didn't. Oh, whoops! I'm so sorry. Hang on. Okay, we're all right. I didn't really think I was going to be racing tonight because I had a friend over I hadn't seen in like 7 years, and he was staying a little later than I expected. So he left probably a few minutes before qualifying started, and I got in during qualifying. Didn't have a setup. Went and got a race setup. My friend told me, "Oh yeah, it's going to rain, by the way." Okay, so I went and got a rain setup. Didn't get to post a qualifying time. It was like 3 minutes left in the session at that point. Started from the back, just kind of had a pretty good start, honestly, and just kind of gauged from what everyone else was doing what I should be doing, and then the rain came and that made it especially crazy, but we ended up having some pretty good instincts and pretty good know-how out there to have some pretty solid pace. We seemed to be a bit faster than the leader, but the gap was just a bit too high. I got it down a good bit, and then Edwin was also right behind me. I started from the pits, and Roman right behind him as well was also pretty fast. So it was really interesting seeing us all kind of converge a little bit, but just ran out of race time.
Yeah, perhaps if we just had a little bit more time left on the clock, we would have seen Onofree catch up to you catch up to Houseband, because the gaps were all coming down in the final 10 minutes or so. It was such an exciting race. Do you have any highlights from the race or any big jump scares that occurred due to the rain?
Due to the rain, I mean, it came down a lot heavier than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Just looking at the radar, it was instantly, and within a lap, it was like, oh, I should have pitted the second it started raining. So, I mean, that was a little spooky, that last half lap before we were able to pit for rain tires. And then, I mean, from there, it was mostly seeing other people, have issues. I know a lot of people I just saw were like half spinning or something, and I was able to get past them because of that. I tend to be a little conservative, but I guess that worked out for me in the wet, at least. So yeah, it was not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be, honestly.
Great to hear, Jake. Anybody you'd like to shout out, or anybody that you'd like to thank on the P2 tonight?
Yeah, I'll thank you guys for putting on this event and this broadcast. Always fun to kind of race with the different crowd than what I'm used to. I recognize some names, but a lot of them are new. So interesting to race with them and get to have some fun this summer, especially with so many leagues and other things on pause for a while. And I'll thank Tech Sport Racing, of course. Is that a sticker? Okay. Thank Tech Sport Racing for our partnership with them. They actually won the Mustang Challenge race at Mid-Ohio today, so good day on both the sim side and the real world side. Thank you for all the opportunities they give us and all the help they give us on the sim side, and thank you to, I guess, my school. I just graduated with my master's, and thank you to my job. I just got my first career job. Just finished my first full week. So a lot of exciting things going on right now, and I'll also thank my newborn niece that came into the world a couple weeks ago. Got to meet her last week as well. So yeah, great things happening all around.
Congratulations on a very exciting time in your life, Jake. A lot of good things happening for you in the future. Best of luck to you, and most importantly, make sure you stay safe out there, Jake.
Thank you. You as well. Have a good night.
Another lovely interview there to hear from Jake Cummins. Very grateful, second place, and Coming up next, I think we're going to have another awesome interview. Eric Halsman, somebody that I know personally, got to meet in Indianapolis for PRI. He did win over at the over as well in Indy with our event. So that's very exciting to see him joining us back once again and virtually getting to see him once more. So Eric Halsman coming up here, our race winner and a debut victory as well, at least the first ever victory for Eric Halsman in the Team America Talent Scout event. Eric, it's lovely to see you on camera once again. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderful tonight, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing great. That was an exciting race from the booth to watch. I am glad I wasn't out on track, to be completely honest, because my goodness, that looked difficult. Let's talk about the start. You obviously started in P2, but then we had that the start issue with the other driver starting in the pit lane. So you managed to start in first. Was there anything that stuck out to you early on that put you in danger? And then obviously when the rain fell, how did that happen? Or how did that kind of affect you?
Well, definitely race start when I saw Edwin not there. Part of me was elated, and the other part of me was like, okay, we got to figure out a strategy because it changes things. Originally, I knew Edwin was fast, and I was going to stick in his draft and kind of do some fuel saving and work on getting that decision time for when the rain comes later in the race. And so at the race start, I got a good run on the outside of Nathaniel and just focused on breaking that draft, letting him fight with the people behind me. And then once I got like a 2-second gap, I was kind of torn. I did a little bit of fuel saving, hoping to like gain an extra lap, maybe have that extra lap of decision time if the rain happened later in the race. And then I saw that relative ticking down because he was pushing to catch back up with me, and Jake was there as well. And so I had to start pushing again. And so the rain came hard and fast, and it, I think, caught a lot of people off guard. I know when it first started raining, that next lap that happened, I was just thinking to myself, okay, we're just going to play it safe, just back up those braking zones and just focus on surviving. And I think it was coming into Canada and just turning the wheel and feeling nothing. And I was like, okay, I have to make a decision before I cross the pit line. And coming out of that final turn, just going wide, I was like, yeah, it's wets. And so just focused on getting in the pits, having a good, safe pit stop, and just maintaining out there. And thankfully, I was able to have some really good outlaps on those tires and judge the conditions. And I gained about a 9 or 10 second gap. There was some battling for P2 that definitely helped, and just maintaining that consistency throughout the race and minimizing risk is, I think, what got me the win, because Edwin and Roman and Jake, they were all catching me by a half a second or more a lap, and I just knew, like, okay, as long as I can manage it down to the end, to that final lap, I should be safe.
And that's exactly what you did, down to the wire. I mean, again, pretty much you say that they were gaining on you. In reality, you had a very solid lap time putting everything together at the end, and the gap was fairly stationary, all things considered. But I want to ask you as well, towards the end, was there any sort of tire issues or any sort of, because it obviously had a big dry spell, did you have any overheating issues towards the end?
Possibly. The tires definitely felt mushy, and there were certain parts of the track where I was definitely losing behind. One of the things that I think did me well is I had a really good exit out of the last corner, and so I noticed my relatives would tick up during that time. So I think that kind of saved me gaining that important time on the longest straight, and then mostly it was just kind of managing traction control and ABS so that I didn't wash out too much, but also didn't put the car too much at risk of spinning. And then a little bit of brake bias tweak, but not too much.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, Eric, before we let you go here tonight and go and drink the champagne, is there anybody that you would like to thank for your victory here at the Team America Talent Scout Event 5?
Absolutely. I couldn't do any of this without the wonderful support from my teammates on the esports team I'm on, Phase Competition and Super Lap out here in wonderful Berkeley, Michigan. We have a sim studio that sponsors us, and so myself and Andrew are in this race, and Russell occasionally drops in to participate, and he probably would have driven away with it if he was here. But no, a lot of great guys, and they teach me a lot. They teach me how to get fast. And I couldn't be more happy to, while I'm not representing them in this one, the resources they provide are phenomenal. Of course, thanking my parents, they just opened a new bike shop with called Das Velo. And so they've been working real hard on that. And I'm that kind of determination, that hard work is what I strive to put into my sim racing. And then, of course, just thanks you so much to you and all the other organizers in it. This is such a phenomenal series. It's so well put together, and the racing is tight, the racing is fun, and the action is phenomenal. So excited to be back here again, and thank you so much for having me.
Always exciting to have you on the grid, Eric, and of course, always a pleasure when we met in PRI as well back in December. Thank you so much for joining us as always, and I hope you enjoy your champagne and the rest of your evening.
I absolutely will. You have a great rest of your night.
Thank you. That's going to do it for Eric Halsband, folks. Your race victor here tonight for the Team America Talent Scout Event 5 at Road America in the GT3. Sauger, what an event it's been, I have to say. We've had some ups, we've had some downs, we've had some thrills, we've had some spills, but at the end of the day, this has been an amazing event.
Absolutely, and I'm sure the tech sport boys would wish that they could have an all tech sport lockout next time out, but that means they're gonna have to staff the grid with a few more drivers because we have fierce competition, like you said, and like we interviewed Eric Halsband stacking the field and Roman Lee blooming as well, and people could recognize that the competition is fierce but fair for the most part, and clean is what we like to keep at Init. It's just a great place to race overall. So if you like racing and if you like what you see, make sure you get involved. It's as easy as getting inserted to your sim rig and going to initesports.gg.
And a little recap as well for anyone that is just joining us. You missed the whole show. If you're just joining us, go back and watch the VOD. But of course, if you are, let's take a little recap of what exactly we saw. So obviously at the start, we had Edwin Onfrey start in pole position in qualifying with a wet setup, as he mentioned as well. So very, very impressive qualifying feat. Eric Halsband started in second, but unfortunately at the start, Edwin Onfrey did have some, well, a little too many setup changes, it looks like, and he managed to forget to hit the drive button and start in the pit lane. That didn't matter too much. He still finished in third position when all was said and done, but it could have been a first place, I think, there for Edwin. Roman Lee as well started in 10th position. He finished in fourth position overall, so 6 positions gained. And Jake Cummins finishing in second. Like I said, 19 positions gained. He joined with 3 minutes left, no practice, no nothing, and managed to climb his way up. Again, talk about talent. That is absolutely nothing short of excellent. Eric Halsband, again, the driver that we always love to see up on the podium, a very, very talented driver, and again, one that we got to meet over at PRI. He took victory here tonight quite handedly. It is to be said, and Aaron Brown down in 5th position. What a drive from him, 4 positions gained, and no commentators' curses to be had. I'm proud of myself for that one more than anything. But either way, Sauger, is there anything I'm missing? What are the highlights that you had for tonight?
I think one of the quiet but deadly drivers tonight was definitely, well, the pair of them. Reed Couch in 9th and Morgan Stringer down in 10th position. Both of them with some gains tonight, 6 and 12 respectively. Sergio Orestes riding the roller coaster in that AMG as well, of the ups and downs, the spills and thrills here at Road America. It's just been such an interesting challenge tonight and such a variety in comparison to what we've typically seen from the Team America Talent Scout. It's almost like a breath of fresh air. The rain, the extended race format, the limited fuel, a great combo to boot, GT3s at an American track. What else could you ask for?
No, pretty exactly. And we had this earlier in the year as well over at Watkins Glen, and it never fails to deliver. We get to head on over, though, next time. Let's take a look at the format and at the calendar for the next event. We get to go across the pond over to the UK. We go to Oulton Park in the Toyota GR86s. Yes, this is, by the way, I think all free content, it is to be said. So if you are interested, this is going to be the Team America Talent Scout event. If you are a U.S. citizen, get involved, scan that QR code, and get in the race. All you have to do is have iRacing. all free content. Again, we encourage everybody to get out there. We're looking for the best drivers, not just in terms of pace, but in terms of consistency, in terms of able to make up a position from lower positions, for example, like we saw today. We're looking for the drivers that put their heart into it rather than just their wheel. And that is, of course, what we're here for at Team America and just at Init Esports in general. We also have, of course, our all-women's championship as well. That's going to be up next at Snetterton for the Snetterton 300 layout, and that's going to be June 21st in a couple weeks. You can scan that QR code. This is our all-women's championship that we have to offer, and again, this is all free content as well. It will be in the MX-5, so the Global MX-5 Cup car. Again, free content. You do not want to miss it if you are involved. It's going to be a great time. Now, to mention who makes these events possible as well. Yes, indeed, this is Regadget, and that PC that you see on your screen is epic, and it's very, very affordable. You can scan that QR code or head on over to shop.regadget.com and use code INIT to find yourself getting even more of a discount than it already is. But the Phoenix bundle, starting out with a 3060, 1 terabyte of storage, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and triple fan cooling, everything RGB with an Intel i7 for right around $1,500, and that's again going to be your budget range. They work with you. They will find something within your budget as well. And on top of that, if you have a PC that's laying around, you can send it off to them and they will refurbish it and get it out to a family in need, a library in need, or a school in need for the rest of it. Now, of course, a massive thank you again to everybody that joined us here tonight, whether you're watching live on Twitch, YouTube, or over on Esports Edge on Roku or on eclutch.tv. We thank you all so much for joining us here. This has been an amazing event, and again, brought to you by AK Esports UK from the pictures. Now, Sauger, before we do close this one out tonight, is there anything that you would like to add before we do wrap up?
Just want to give my gratitude to everybody watching live now or in the future. Thank you so much for your continued love and support. Do not forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, get notifications for when Init goes live next.
Absolutely, and make sure you join our Discord as well. You can find that over on our website or in the descriptions below. But in the meantime, folks, we'll be back in a couple of weeks for our Screen to Speed race. Until then, I hope absolutely everybody has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Thank you, and good night.
The speed. The fight. You're on your own. Not anymore with Init Esports.